3 commonly, and I had to show you with my fingers, overlooked exercises for your shoulder that most people are not doing that you need to be doing. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Kresimir Jug, chiropractor here in London, Ontario, Canada. I help people live extraordinary lives through the power of structural chiropractic and life by design principles. And on today's video, I'm gonna be taking you through what's been happening with my shoulder, what I've been doing to help it, and actually demonstrating these exercises. So hopefully you can start to apply them and start to feel better too. But before I start, please like, subscribe, and share this video. It's totally free for you, but it's really helpful for us so we can help more people. So it's interesting. So, and I hate that I keep saying so, by the way. We're back to outdoor training, which is wonderful. So it feels great to be under a bar lifting weights. Last time, and the same thing happened this time. Last time, before we were allowed to train again, I got into this mode where I didn't do anything, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 weeks up to being able to start to train again. And things just started to get sore. It's funny how much you miss moving your body and moving actual weight. And the same thing happened this time. I got into this zone where I was super grumpy, wasn't training as much as I should be. And now that I'm back, I feel a whole lot better. And it was interesting. So here's the part that might relate to you. My shoulder mobility is decent. It's not perfect. There's always room for improvement. And yet, things haven't been, there's been some tender spots and there's nothing really that I can do to recreate it. It's not really clicking, but kind of clicking. And I got back to some of the basics that I had gotten away from. So I wanted to have this video to be a reminder about your shoulder, what to look for, and like I said, I'll get to the exercises. So when we're talking about your shoulder, it's the most mobile joint in your body, which means you almost have 180 degrees range of motion around the shoulder, which also means on the flip side of that, it's very unstable and it's the most often injured joint in the body. And the reason that it's the most often injured joint is because of the mobility and the fact that, when we talk about the hip is referred to as a ball and socket joint, meaning, there's this encasing and the other, it goes into the joint. Your shoulder is not like that. Your shoulder is held together by a lot of muscles, by a lot of ligaments, by a lot of tendons. So it can move, but it's really unstable. And a lot of it depends on what you do day to day and how you treat your body. The better you treat your body, the healthier you are, the healthier your shoulders tend to be. And the worse you treat your body, the more unhealthy that your shoulders tend to be. So I wanted to show you the exercises. And here's the cool part. You probably already know them, and here's why they're overlooked. The first one is the foam roller. When we're talking about one of the parts to your shoulder joint is your thoracic spine. If your spine is locked in this position and you don't have the ability to move your spine, your shoulder mobility is going to be limited. Okay, we know so there's a branch of chiropractic called chiropractic biophysics. They have a lot of great data on correcting the curves of the spine. So oftentimes, people will come in and they'll say, I want to correct or I want this curve in my neck corrected, and we have this text neck. And what we know is that you can't have a curve like this. If you have a curve like this in your upper back, then see how my neck is limited in how far back it can go? But if I correct that curve, now I have better range of motion in my neck. And the same is true with your shoulders. If you're struggling with shoulders, a great part of leverage or a great area of leverage to focus on where even little changes will produce bigger results is improving or increasing your thoracic spine mobility. So we'll get our trusty friend, the foam roller, out. And no, that's not, well, it is a garbage can, but it's exercise number 2. So it's this tried and true classic. In this position, I like shoulders above head. You can also support your head, but you don't want your head flopping around. But here's what I don't want. I don't want you, rolling up and down. I want you to find a spot, support your head, and hang out here with your core tight. Hang out here for at least 2 minutes, because we know that 2 minutes is what's necessary to change the structure of your spine. So that's exercise number 1, is anything that has to do, that one particularly, but anything that has to do with improving the mobility or the posture of your upper back is going to help your shoulder. Exercise number 2, you could use a weight. It doesn't have to be a really heavy weight, but it needs to be relatively heavy. All I've done is I've took this wastebasket and I've filled it with garbage bag rolls, because I found this at home. I always try to limit the equipment that I ask you to buy, but sometimes it is good to have equipment. And what we're gonna do is what I call a modified Codman exercise. So you're gonna need a place to stabilize your body. So here's the setup for this exercise. I'm gonna be working with my right arm. I'm stable here. All of my weight is leaning forward. My back is straight. My core is tight. I'm going to make sure that this is stable. I'm gonna lift it up. It weighs about 5 pounds, 5 or 10 pounds. So my back is tight, and I'm not completely drooping forward, but my shoulder is just hanging here, dead hang. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my lower body to start this swinging, not too much, but a little bit. And then I'm going to focus on just relaxing my shoulder. And it's called a pendulum or Codman exercise. I like going clockwise, and you can go counterclockwise too. But the whole point is, when your shoulder is hanging here, what's happening is we're adding some length. So the space in my shoulder, the joint is opening up, and then I'm moving it to let the blood and all the nutrients and the synovial fluid get into the joint capsule and to help it move and to help it heal. Okay, so that's exercise number 2. There's no limit on that one. That's just a relaxation, get things moving again exercise. It should feel really, really good. It feels really, really nice when I do it. It's just nice to decompress and let my shoulder rest. So that's exercise number 2. Exercise number 3 is strength training. Remember at the beginning of the video when I was telling you how much of your shoulder is composed of muscles and ligaments and tendons? That means that any strength imbalances, for example, most of us spend a tremendous amount of our time, not just sitting forward with this type of posture, but with our shoulders rolling in. And then on the flip side of that, if I were to ask you how many pull-ups you could do. So, pull-up would be a test of strength, of this part of your shoulder strength. You're gonna grab a bar and you're going to see, how many times you can get your chest to the bar or your chin over the bar. Most people can't do any. So what that means, and it's not bad if you can't do any, but it's definitely something to add, to the list to learn how to do. But what that means is these muscles here are short and tight, so they pull this way, and we don't have a counter force equivalent to that in the back. That produces a large weakness here. It pulls things forward and creates an unstabilized, is that even a word? Shoulder that's not stable. How about that? So really simple. I mean, I bought these bands, I think at Winners for like $5. This is not the optimal way to do this, but this is our way to do. You're gonna put this band around your arms, and then we're gonna mimic the pull-up like that. I have to edit. You wanna put your arms out like this, hold on to the band, and then we're going to mimic the pull-up like that. And again, the goal is to strengthen this, okay? And I would try for 3 sets of 10 to 15, depending on how heavy this is. Better would be to get to the gym and actually practice your pull-up, because there's a lot of progressions to learn. But anything that we're doing to strengthen the back of our arm is a step in the right direction, okay? Comment below if I can help, and give it a shot, and we'll talk to you guys soon, okay?